Thank you very much for this kind introduction, and I want to welcome you all here also from my part to Malta. We have a very exciting program today. It took over, actually preparing this meeting started already 2 years ago, even before the last meeting went on. And where are we now? So we formulated many SIP policy recommendations. So the organizers and we thought it would be a good place to think what's happening now. First of all, my declaration, disclosure statement of conflict of interest, and every speaker has been repeating this. Numbers show 1 in 5 Europeans suffer from a form of chronic pain. It's a huge number. It's above 100 million. And we know that it's not only pain as such, it increases or it induces a lot. If pain is persisting, anxiety, depression, mood disorders can develop, disturbed sleep, kinesiophobia, catastrophizing ideas. So just to be very brief on this, quality of life decreases. And that's our main goal within the European Pain Federation as being responsible for the scientific content of the SIP platform and working together with many organizations over the last years since 2009. I want just to share with you what are we doing and how this fits into the SIP model. We want to advance multidisciplinary research, education, clinical management and professional practice related to pain. We are an organization of professionals, but we are organized multidisciplinary. It's not only about medical doctors. It's not only about medical doctors who have very fancy technical techniques. We also have within our ranks psychologists, physiotherapists, all kinds of healthcare providers, and this is unique because compared to many other organizations. But on the other hand, we want to serve as an authoritative, scientifically based resource concerning policy issues related to pain and pain management, and that's where SIP steps in. Just to give you a few short examples. For instance, maybe you are aware, this year is a European year against pain after surgery, acute pain but also persistent pain, and we do this together with the global organization ISP, which also has the campaign Global Year Against Pain After Surgery. But we're doing much more. I want to invite you to come all over to Copenhagen in September. We will have the second largest professional meeting on pain in the world in Copenhagen, and I hope that we will see many faces of you back into Copenhagen. But during the presidency of Chris Wells, we really moved forward because we really took serious what's happening on education. And during the SIP meetings, the previous SIP meetings, there was always again, and once again this SIP meeting, the call for better education. So we want to give instruments also to our chapters especially for those chapters where national guidelines, curricula are lacking for the management on pain, to teach pain medicine and pain strategies towards healthcare professionals. And over the last years, the core curriculum for the European Diploma in Pain Medicine was created. It's a huge document, and we're very grateful that we didn't reinvent the wheel. We really had a good start by taking up what was created also on the other side of the world in Australia and New Zealand. And this led also to the initiative of examinations, and I'm very proud that the first European diplomats of the European Pain Federations have been examined, and we had over 17 successful candidates who managed to get this tough diploma, because it was quite a challenge with MCQs, with OSCE's clinical situations, and then also a Viva exam. We are active in research and collaborating discussing with many organizations, but also with the industry. And one of the major grants is the ECK grant, which will be, which you can find already on the web. It's announced already, but the awarding ceremony will be in Copenhagen. And of course, we have to share on a scientific level our findings in the European Journal of Pain. We're very happy from part of the European Pain Federation that we were able to team up many years ago in our advocacy work because what I learned over the last years by all the initiatives and all the visits we did to all kinds of people, policymakers on a national and a European level within the European Parliament, and I'm very happy that many members of the European Parliament followed our invitation and our presence here, but also within the structure of the European Commission, and you will see in the program that Mr. Martin Sikel will share some good news with us related to the EU work. We want to raise awareness, exchange information, share best practices. And we did this during yesterday. We really shared best practices. We learned from each other what's happening in the other countries. And if we look at the key policy recommendations of the last year, you will notice that we discussed last year cross-border healthcare. This seemed a little bit more complicated than we thought, but we will still stick to this and follow this up. Establish an EU platform on the societal impact of pain. I'll come back immediately to that because we will hear good news today. Yes, indeed, we're at the first step of creating this EU platform. Integrate chronic pain within EU policies on chronic diseases. The platform is in a forum on chronic diseases. We also called to ensure that pain care is part of policies and strategies on cancer. Once again, we discussed this yesterday. Employment, very important. Workplace adjustments, increased investment in pain research, and then prioritize education. So we're still on track. We're asking for most of these recommendations are still recommendations to follow up, and we're asking for. So the question is now what? And last week we visited with the major partners of SIP, Pain Alliance Europe, European Pain Federation, Active Citizen Network, and representative of Grunenthal. We had the opportunity to have a long discussion within the European Commission with Mr. Sekel, and he will announce within this session the creation of the European expert group on the social impact of pain, which really would give us the platform to communicate, to share, and it's my deepest wish that all the stakeholders, all the endorsers of SIP will also endorse and step into this project and join the expert network, because this gives many opportunities, but I will leave this, of course, to Mr. Sekel to give details on this. And yesterday we also heard important news about incorporation of ICD-11, and also from our professional organization, many people participated, of course, in the enormous work which was put in. Ladies and gentlemen, within Europe, within the European Pain Federation, we unite 37 national chapters. And one of the concerns we do have is that depending on which healthcare model you have, which colleagues are trained, that still there is the landscape on management of pain is not uniform. It's not uniform within Europe. It depends on where you live, who you are, what kind of therapy and what kind of treatment you get. So, and often it depends on the hammers which are available. And if you only have one hammer, you will hit every nail with this hammer. And within management of pain, we really need many, many hammers in the hands of many, many expert and skilled people. So one of our concerns and where we want to get rid of is this kind of supermarket approach, which in some countries is only led by entrepreneurship. And this is not it's not to the benefit of patients suffering from pain. If we want to address correctly the problem of chronic pain, We know that there are many medical technical means. There are medicines available, there are technical interventions available, and it's good when they help, but you have to balance this. And once persistent pain develops, and most patients in the room can assure you, then also other issues raise. And there will be problems with movement. So physical therapy, movement, exercise is important. There will be problems with psychosocial issues, including employment and work. So what are the perspectives to the future? That is, we really have now key points to work on education, on employment, reintegration of patients with pain, on getting into this platform and advise also our policymakers on a national and EU level how we can move forward the care of patients in pain. But from my personal perspective, I would even go a step forward, because if you look what's happening into the research and the knowledge about pain, we must admit maybe we're also looking at chronic pain as a lifestyle disease, lifestyle-related disease. Because, for instance, the high prevalence of musculoskeletal problems is also related, and it starts not at 50 years, it starts already in kindergarten, and it's also all about lifestyle. It's also about primary prevention and lifestyle, and even further, there is also not every European citizen has the same chances, because there are also environmental factors, and it can also be environmental related disease, and this is a topic which can only be addressed on an EU level. This is not something which every country on a national level can tackle. So we're moving to train the brain concepts and primary prevention and lifestyle. So many initiatives. As pain clinicians, for instance, we're more and more involved also in the campaigning about reintegration to work. We should be involved also in lifestyle issues. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting now for many hours in this room, but there is a call. One of the problems is that we do not move enough. And this is what's happening in the evolution of man. Yeah? And I'm seeing as a clinician now patients with a text neck, because they're running the whole day, like texting and so on. And this is something we should address. So I was really, I enjoyed the visit to the European Commission, because that's what you see within the building of the European Commission. Give yourself a lift, take the stairs. Of course, this is not possible for everybody, but for those who are still able to, please take the chairs. So this is a call for movement. And then last, and this is my last slide, we're here together because we do not believe in silos. We're here together because we believe in what we call the United We Stand principle. And in discussions especially on national level, we see that there is sometimes claims from specialties or interest groups from pain that we are the most important one. No, there is no ownership on the topic of pain. The only owner of pain is the patient who is suffering from it. Thank you very much for your attention.